If you develop an app, you're going to make the app and then sell it a million times. When you're doing a custom home, everything you do is sort of like, I'm figuring this out to design this one thing. It's creating spaces for people to live their best lives. I find that really fun. Hello, Eleanor. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me over.
Looking through some historic maps, I can see that the building that was here burned down sometime in the 70s.
Okay.
And no one ever bought the lot because the buildings were all interconnected. So although it's a 25-foot lot, there was only a 21-foot buildable area that's going to require somebody really creative to come in and think of something to put here. So this is our space where we welcome clients. Like I said, I designed it to be a functioning coffee shop and then ended up just being our own personal space. And then we have the cork wall, which we use to pin up for design meetings. And this is actually cork flooring we had left over from my house upstairs, and reached out to the vendor to see if it would be suitable for a cork board. And they said no one's ever done it before, but it'd be a great material to use because of the way it self-heals.
So talk about the name of your firm too, and how that came about.
We came up with En Masse as a description. You know, it means all together.
Yeah.
And so that means that we're working as a team with our clients and our contractors and our artisans and our interior designers and everyone to create the best product. And it also means that the contribution that everyone makes in some regard is somewhat equal. Everyone comes to the office camera ready every day.
That's what we say too, right?
Yeah. One thing we sort of brought with us from when we were down in the WeWork space was loving all working in one space. We've got a small phone booth room for when you need to have that, private phone call. But for the most part, I think it actually helps the process that we can all hear what each other are working on. You know, if it's a challenge someone's solving or, idea someone has that they're discussing with a client or a contractor, everyone can sort of be in the loop and learn from what's going on. We do everything from, very high-end, large-scale custom single-family homes to smaller renovations that we find interesting.
Yeah.
And then I've got one member of the team who is particularly passionate about commercial projects. I've always loved Logan Square. Prior to living here, I lived in Wicker Park. I just like the West Side in terms of the food scene and the access to transportation and the community here. I had a personal vision of wanting to live in a place that really maximizes my connection to my environment. So you'll see when I show my home that is glass on all four sides.
Again, to recap the uses.
Yeah. We've got private
floor,
coffee shop,
yes,
/ conference room,
right,
space, to meet with clients. The second floor is our studio space.
Yeah.
The third floor is our entry and the Airbnb.
Okay.
And then the fourth floor is our primary residence.
Great.
And I'll show you why we chose to be on the fourth floor. Obviously inspired by some of the great glass houses of the past, like you mentioned, there's Mises Farnsworth House or Philip Johnson's glass house. I wanted to kind of reinterpret that as a city house. So it was interesting, setting it into these row homes. Being a story higher than them, I'm very adjacent to my neighbors, but ultimately very private from them. No one can sort of get a direct line of sight in. I could be zoned to where I could have my home and my office in the same building. So you quickly start to kind of narrow down, and Milwaukee Avenue creates that great sight line to the skyline.
Yeah.
And then set into the middle of the glass box is this walnut cube that was a really fun opportunity for me to sort of, flex all the cabinetry muscles I have. So it's really an integration of all different aspects of living. This side of it is a dining room. On this side is the bathroom. On the far side is the bedroom. And on the south-facing side is the kitchen. So you had to integrate a lot of appliances and, details and functional aspects all into this really one piece of cabinetry.
The fact that you're building as a new build, it really looked at the rhythm of what was happening on this particular block, and you designed a modern building to fit in with it. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you approach that design? And some have called it brutalist, which is using a lot of concrete. And can you kind of explain that?
I didn't set out to build a brutalist building, but I do love raw concrete. I love natural expressions of building materials. I do love, 60s, 70s brutalist architecture. I also love Messian architecture. I love Corbusier. I think there's some I.M. Pei in here and some Louis Kahn and some Stanley Tigerman. And so it's about pulling from a lot of things that interest me and combining them in a way that I find interesting is really where the style evolved from.
It's enlightening to hear every building story. Thoughtful design ensures a building that not only inspires, but also meets the daily needs of those who use it. The best way to uncover these stories is by hearing directly from the architects who bring them to life. Thank you, Mike, for helping us explore why design matters.